I've got the brains. You've got the looks. Let's make lots of money. You've got the brawn. I've got the brains. Let's make lots of money. Hi friends, welcome back. We're doing Pet Shop Boys and Nvidia earnings. And if you like Pet Shop Boys, please give a shout out down below. I am pushing 50, so I like old stuff. What can I say? So evidently, Nvidia posts revenue up 265% on booming AI business. And as the headlines say, AI mania resumes with Nvidia outlook saving the broader market. Frankly, guys, Nvidia is swimming in the cash. They've got the brains. You've got the looks. That's what he's telling everybody. That's Jensen Huang over at Nvidia. And yep, I guess AI is here to stay, so to speak. So I want to go through some of these things, and I'll share my thoughts and get yours as well. So I guess the earnings per share came in at 516. There was Wall Street wanted 464, so they beat there, and revenue came in at 22 billion, and Wall Street was expecting about 20. So again, another beat. And they're saying, you know what? The current quarter we're going to get 24 billion, so it's still going up. Like, what the heck is going on over there? And evidently, as the headlines say, Nvidia surges after AI boom shows no signs of letting up. So I was looking at the shares here, and in fact, it was down about 7-8% on the week. In after hours, it picked that all back up 9% in the after hours. It's just killing it. And this is crazy, guys. This is actually the chart here of their data related or AI related revenue in the data center. So that's sort of where they make their money. And you can actually see it for yourself here. So this is 2022. This is 2023. What the heck is this? 2024. Like, what? So, I mean, their guidance is pretty crazy. I mean, you can see that the growth that they're projecting here. So we'll see. Again, this is 2024, so it hasn't quite been completed yet. But they're expecting the essentially hockey stick kind of thing. Jensen Huang, this is what he says here. Accelerated computing and generative AI have hit the tipping point. So that's what all the headlines are saying, the tipping point. Demand is surging worldwide across companies, industries, and nations. Moreover, they were talking about the future, and Jensen Huang, they were saying on the conference call with analysts, Huang said that demand for Nvidia's newest products will continue to outstrip supply for the rest of the year. So they're saying, yo, this year looks pretty good. They can't make enough, I guess. Though supply is growing, demand isn't showing any signs of slowing. Generative AI has kicked off a whole new investment cycle. So yeah, this is what's up, I guess, according to Jensen Huang. That will lead to a doubling, he says, of the world's data center installed base over the next 5 years and represent an annual market opportunity in hundreds of billions. So is this all hyperbole? Is he just making random stuff up? Well, according to Mark Zuckerberg, and I have to mention this, like, you know, who's buying said chips and things, it's the H100 graphic cards that I guess people are interested in. These are what they're saying $40,000 on eBay because you can't get them. So, but Zuckerberg, he put in an order for 350,000 of these things. So I guess, I mean, they're in for quite a bit of money. You can do the math on that. Moreover, this is something that's really interesting as Wall Street is falling over themselves trying to figure out what to do with this thing. So Citibank has a buy rating. They're saying, you know what, 575. So that would actually be downside from here. The high one would be Baird or like a Rosenblatt. We talked about those yesterday, like $1,100, $1,000. TD Cohen 900. We'll see what the rest of Wall Street comes in at. But do be aware, though, kind of the way this game is played is it's what's the word to say? Kind of like you know, all the cool kids are doing this. I better join before you know, people find out that I'm not a cool kid. and then when the sort of momentum changes, you know, things will sour, etc. It just feels like that the AI stuff is what the cool kids are doing, I guess. Now, me and myself, I personally think this is all a bubble. But to be fair to Nvidia, the money is real. They are making quite a bit of money. And the question is going to be, and there's a couple things as we go through these things, is how long can they sustain this kind of growth? And moreover, how often are people going to make these purchases? Because generally speaking, think about this, is this kind of, you know, stuff, chips, is cyclical. So after Facebook, you know, buys, what is it, 350,000 chips? Was it something like that? Did you say 350? Yeah, 350,000 of these H100s. Like, are they going to buy again, like every couple of years? You know, who knows? And these aren't cheap. this is what their current revenue growth is, though. It's actually quite astounding. Revenue up 265%, and then you got this crazy numbers here of like net income up 769%, diluted per share up 765%. It's like what? Like massive numbers here. Now on the non-GAAP, it comes up a little bit more reasonable. I mean, it's still up big. That's why I think people are focused on revenue, because sometimes when you talk about income, it depends how your accounting thing is and stuff like that. But your net income still up 491%, or earnings per share up 486%. So they're clearly growing, and we can all see it. Now, the thing that really caught my eye, though, and I want to point this out to you guys, is sort of like, where is their money coming from? You can actually look at this. So this is like your total fiscal year, and they have different categories. So they got data center, gaming, professional visualization, automotive, OEM, and other. So data center actually comes in at the biggest. So that's like, what, 47 billion. That's kind of, I guess, their projections. Fiscal year 23, they're like 15 billion, right? So look at that. I mean, they're basically looking at what, tripling theoretically if it comes in at what they are projecting. Gaming is going to remain about the same, so it's really the data center is their growth. So gaming from 9 billion to 10 billion, something like that. Again, these are projections. Professional visualization 1,500, or 1.5 billion to 1.5 billion. Then automotive is not that much for them. I mean, yes, it's $1 billion. Yes, it's a lot of money. I'm not discounting $1 billion, but you can see for yourself, like compared to the data center, that's where the action is at, and then the OEM stuff. Now, that's where they are now, but they could grow these things in the future, because the question is, when you look at this kind of stuff, like how much growth left is there? This is an interesting one. 4 takeaways from Nvidia's earning call. So 40% of their record data center revenue from AI, and that's coming from the chief financial officer, Colette Kress. They also said here, too, that they may do some enterprise software. I thought that was kind of interesting. I'll read a little bit here on that. And if you guys have used their enterprise software, please chime in on this one. I haven't myself, but I am aware of their cards. And I have actually used their GeForce Now thing, which is pretty cool. If you don't know what that is, it's like a streaming a way to essentially play games with NVIDIA hardware via the internet. So you can like do it from any kind of like your iPad essentially, and you operate a remote computer. Like that kind of tech is really cool. Anyway, they say here the software segment represented a small portion of NVIDIA's earnings, but Wong said he believes that every enterprise in the world, every software enterprise company that is deploying software in all clouds and private clouds on on-prem, must be premium, I think is what he means there, will run on NVIDIA AI Enterprise. The fundamental reason is that NVIDIA will be successful in software is because company manages the, quote, complicated stack of software that's involved in accelerating computing for its enterprise cloud service provider customers. So again, for people who are in this stuff, please chime in on this one. I'm just not an expert in that particular field, and I don't pretend to be, but I can read, so and I can learn as well. I also know that the OEM thing is a small part of the business. That's why I showed you guys this stuff before. This was back at their actual charts here, right? But they're trying to grow it with partnerships. So they're saying, hey, we're reaching out to Dell, HP, Supermicro, Amazon, AWS, Microsoft, and Google. Apple was not on this list. I thought it was kind of interesting, but my understanding is they're on ARM architecture, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. And I can tell you that the Apple M chips are fantastic. I mean, it's the best chips I've ever had. So computers right now are just unreal. Originally, when we talked about NVIDIA, I don't know, the last couple of years, it's been a lot of the crypto hype, and crypto miners have been, wanting to jump on board this thing. But now it's all AI hype. Crypto is going to be slowing down a bit with the halving, in my opinion. But the AI, will we keep going on with this in data centers? So, I mean, at least the money's real now of Zuckerberg, and he's good for the money. I promise you, Facebook has money. So, and then also too, we have the competition, because this is also real. If people, really want to jump into this stuff and it gets to be popular, then, Google's got to develop their stuff, and then, Microsoft's got to develop their stuff. And I was like, oh, me too. And so it becomes an arms race. And essentially, this is the NVIDIA's the picks and shovels kind of thing. They also said here that there was, problems with China where, I'll read it here. Growth was strong against all regions except for China, where our data center revenue declined, significantly following the U.S. government export control regulations imposed in October. So that would be interesting if the U.S. ever lifted restrictions. At this point, it doesn't seem like they're going to. I'm saying if. My personal opinion on this stuff, and I've said this kind of things a lot if you've paid into my channel, the U.S. should indeed develop their own domestic chip industry and keep it strong. So it's great that Nvidia is dominating in this space, and it's an American company. One of the things to be, proud as an American. He's awesome. And also too, I'm a big fan of Jensen Huang. Actually, you don't know, he grew up in Portland, myself included. So we're both Portland guys. I know he went to Aloha High School. I know exactly where that is. And congrats to him. And I'll talk about the risk of this. The other thing I am concerned though, he is 61. So how much longer is he going to be at Nvidia? My understanding, he's got a couple kids working the company, and will he just pass it down to one of them? Now, one of the positive or negatives you could take, and leave it up to you, Sam Altman's trying to challenge Nvidia. And from a good news point of view is that in order to do that, Altman's saying, hey, give me, 3 trillion, 4 trillion, maybe 7 trillion, and I can compete with Nvidia. And he's been going to the oil countries, that is, so like your Saudis, your UAE, etc. We'll see if he can get the money from them, but that means it's tough to enter this competitive space to compete against Nvidia. Now, obviously there are other companies out there, but I'm saying Altman would be a real challenge, because if he can raise that money, and I'm talking about quite a bit of money. Nvidia at the moment, I think they're approaching the 2 trillion mark. So it's been a bit volatile this week. This chart is asserting the biggest companies in the world, and so Nvidia may kind of be trying to pass Google on this thing. So it's pretty crazy thinking about this. Now, another thing I want to mention to you, which is kind of interesting, this was just announced today. Intel got some sort of deal with Microsoft for AI drives or whatever, but for whatever reason, Intel always finds ways to screw things up. So you guys in the industry, you can comment on that stuff. My understanding, though, this is real, is that Intel, though, however, is very politically connected. So they always find ways to get money from the government to subsidize their endeavors. So it is what it is. It's the same with Ford. It's the same with GM. So I don't care for any of these types of companies. They're essentially on government recitation, whereas something like Nvidia, they just put out really good stuff. And this is also something that I thought was really interesting. They were saying here, let's read it. It says, customer demand for Nvidia chips is so far above supply that CEO Jensen Huang had to discuss how fairly the company decides who can buy them. And I mean, like he's saying, demand outstrips or outpaces supply. So evidently this thing is going to keep going according to him. In terms of like what's the stock going to do, so in my opinion, it is overvalued. That's just my opinion. However, I can clearly read the tape and stuff like that. I can see it. The stock is going up, and everyone's hyping into this thing, and they do make money. This is a legitimate company. Just the questions I would have would be, how much longer can this crazy growth grow on, same thing. And the other one would be, after all these companies buy said chips, will they, how often would they need to upgrade? So remember, they're saying like, hey, this could be 5 years of doubling of data centers, that kind of thing. We'll see. But so far, though, the AI hype is continuing. And I guess, as the article said, the one I thought was funny, AI mania is still here. So please share your thoughts on this one. It looks like Nvidia is still killing it. And love to hear your thoughts, and catch you next video.